秋山さん連れてきました。6人全員
All together now! This is perfect!
マジかよ。よく集めてきたな。
What's good, anime enthusiasts? Welcome to another episode review for Liar Game. Now, I am happy about this episode, actually, in particular, not only for the explanation of the minority rule game, but what it's about, what it presents, and what the players want to go through, and how now gets a little spotlight of she herself doing something cool and amazing that kind of shocked Akiyama, but also impressed him at the same time. I guess he didn't be impressed, but she actually contributed to the, I guess, both of them on being on a team now. And then Akiyama himself coming up with yet another plan, a very interesting plan for this game. Yet, however, not all plans are 100% foolproof. There is always a wrench, and the wrench is also pretty cool and amazing. And this whole entire setup, now, I know it's not gonna be lavish. I know it's not gonna be crazy, a la Ace Attorney or like Danganronpa. Probably not. There's probably gonna be some betrayal or whatnot in the next episode or the next coming episodes, but I do like the premise of it. I'm just hoping that the execution of it in the following episodes will be, you know, good and like an enjoyable watch. So what is minority rule? What is the game? What are the rules? Well, they explain it in this. Players will be presented with a binary question, yes or no, and each player will cast their vote to whichever answer, yes or no, and then whichever answer gets the majority, those players will lose. So say, for instance, there's 22 of them. Let's say there is a vote of 10 to 12. The team of 12 automatically get kicked out, while the team of 11 move on. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. And of course, one of the players will like, well, what if some of the players are your industry plants? What if they're trying to sway the vote? And they're like, we can't do that. We could do that in a majority, but we can't really do that in a minority. Because, you know, if they have like at least maybe like 3 or 4 people that are in there, they can really sway the votes. But in a minority, that's a little bit more rough if you're trying to be less than more. And Akiyama has the $1 million question. Why are you doing all this? And the proctor is like, to choose the true liar king. Why? Because people are willing to pay for genius liars. So those sponsors and rich people, when they want those genius liars, the liar game tournament happens so they can pluck those really good people and for their own goods, whatever it may be. Which kind of has a dystopian sense that maybe in this day and age, we could actually have a liar game tournament where there's billionaires and trillionaires are just setting up this death game style of place to put people in death and to get the best, worst people imaginable, you know? But to move on from there, food is presented for a lot of people because, you know, they've been there for like a really long time. They're probably hungry. They're probably parched. But in this situation, who really would want to eat their food that they presented? They probably think it's poisonous. They got some kind of sedative in there, you know, or the fact that they're just too nervous to eat, or they just don't have the stomach for it. While you have Akiyama and one other dude, they're just chilling, they're eating, they're fine. And I was like, how can you do that? I was like, you got to save up your energy, you know. If there's one thing you can probably trust them on, is like they are so robust and strict that you can trust them with anemones and like food, which we'll get to the on the anemones part later. But now ask, well, how did you, Akiyama, get in there? Well, he says he ran into a player who wanted to drop out because she stole 100 million from the previous game, but she was stricken with guilt, so she wanted to drop out. Cool. She gave her check to her agent, but that agent was a fake, another player that was in the game. So Akiyama asking, you know, with the officials, like, okay, you can participate in the game as long as you have an invitation. So she assumed that player's prize money and debt. So now Akiyama can fully be in the liar game tournament because now he's riddled with her debt. So after that, we now get a demonstration and the practice of the actual game. so that all the players and the audience who are watching can see how this plays out. So a player is chosen at random through a lottery system, and they present a question. In this rehearsal scenario, the player says, "Are you a woman?" Each player are given 2 slips of paper with their name on it that says yes or no. That way it prevents all kind of cheating shenanigans of writing other things down and having more slips of paper. So the players will have 6 hours to vote. So they have all the time in the world. They can do it immediately or they can wait till the very end to vote. However, if you don't vote, you're just going to be out regardless. However, for this little rehearsal practice, you only got 10 minutes. And now we see, now thinks in the average sense. He's like, okay, are you a woman? Well, yeah, I'm a woman. And she looks around. Oh, there's only 6 people here. Ah, I'm in the minority. Woo, I win. So she casts her vote. And as the votes are tallied out loud, yes becomes the majority. And you figure it out. Wait, some of the men voted yes. And the guy says, well, I see that there's only like a few women, so I thought it'd be better if I said yes. And that's the key part of the game, as the proctor says. The object of the game is to be the minority. The accuracy of your answer is moot. It does not matter. You just have to be in the other party. It's a game of strategy, wits, and timing. There's a lot of depth to this. There's a lot you could do. Now, I mean, let's be honest. The question could make somebody think one way or another, but the general idea is that how can you as a person navigate this game? Will you just like vibe out people and see where they vote and like do this or do that? Or do you try to snake your way and slither into people's ears and be like, hey, you want to vote here? Yeah, you want to vote here? Hey, that guy over there, he doesn't like you. You know, things of that nature. You know, how do you operate in this space? And as the part says, the one who best controls time wins the game. Cool. The real game starts tomorrow, and there'll be 2 rounds a day because, 6 hours, the other 12 hours are for like recreation, for sleep. So, and all the players are able to stay at the hotel, all expense paid. Yay! They don't have to spend any money. They get free food. They stay in the hotel. It's great. You aren't allowed to leave. Ain't nobody leaving. That's just admitting that you don't want to play anymore. So now just goes into a room and she's like thinking, okay, how do I get through this game? How do I do this? What do I do this? Do I do that? And then while she goes through her options, she just breaks down into tears. She just can't really settle on a thing. And she searches for Akiyama. So she goes into the foyer area where all the other players are, or most of the other players are, especially Akiyama. And she goes up to Akiyama, and Akiyama goes like, girl, calm down. Let me tell you something you can do. He tells her to, socialize with the people, learn their possibilities, learn why they're there, this or that. And now does so. And she gets an internal monologue, and we see some of the side characters being introduced. One of them will come up later, but in theory, this scenario will, foreshadow, be relevant later on in the episode. But now does reconvene with Akiyama, and Akiyama goes like, hey yo, I got a foolproof plan to win this game, but we can't talk about here, so let's go to the room. So they go to the room, they talk shop. And so Akiyama goes like, alright, this plan, it won't win us 100 million or even $1 billion. I can guarantee us 40 million. We're like, what are you talking about? Well, the plan is to create a team of minority. And I was like, I thought I could already make a team. Well, we're not trying to make a majority. Here how it is. It's broken down by math. So there's 22 players. Akiyama wants to make a team of 8 people. And he questions now, okay, out of 22 people, we make a team of 8. What's the what's the best possible, closest possible scenario for a vote? If we got 8 people, we split them into 4 yes, 4 no. We have 22 people left. Now does the math. It's like, all right, cool. Set round 2, we have 4 people. We split those 2, yes and no. We have pairs. What's the next closest number? Now it breaks it down. Cool. Now in the final round, we have four players, but we have two on our team. One votes yes, one votes no. What is the next possible scenario? Well, that those two players go over to one of the others, so we have 1 against 3. Our team always wins, and that way, once that player gets all of the money, they pay the money to drop out. Then they use the rest of that money to pay off of everybody else's debts who are in the team, and after that, they split the money evenly so that all 8 players leave the game with 40 million. So yes, you win round 2 with that team, and at the end of it, you walk away from the game with 40 million yen. Boom. Slam dunk. And we're like, yeah, that's cool. But there's a problem. Remember how Akiyama got into the game, right? The player who stole that 100 million yen from Akiyama's charge? Well, he still got that check, and now he has the power to pay off of somebody's debt. Oh, so now there's our wrench. There is the spice. We have somebody within the game who now has a little bit more power that can easily influence the game and throw everything off. However, the culprit is only known as like a young man. And now it's like, oh, you know, I know people. And so now fetches the people that are, you know, gonna be on the team. She fetches the other 5 women and an old man. That's it. That's our full 18. That's now Akiyama, the 5 women, and the old guy. None of them are young men. That's easy. Boom, we have the team. But still, we need to play the game. That's where the episode ends. Ooh, I'm excited. We have everything. We have our team, and we have the other team, which what they call as player X. So, oh, it's good. I'm getting a little giddy. I hope, as I said in the beginning, I hope they execute it well, because I cannot wait for the mind games and the psychological warfare that's going to happen. And hopefully nobody on our team is going to betray us. Somebody's going to betray us, but it's one of those things. But I can't wait to see. I want to see if Nao can do a little bit more coercion now that she's socialized with these people. She kind of knows them now, you know? So maybe now can like snake her way and slither her way in. Maybe she won't be like as like convincing as a persuasion type of person to like be bad, but more or less coercing like that. Oh my god, I'm this downtrodden, can you please help or do this or do that, something to that matter. I don't know, but I can't wait to see. I want this game to be Nao's glow up, to where she does something amazing to make Akiyama go, dang girl, you good. But anyway, oh yeah, player X, that has to be the guy with the other glasses who ate the food that Akiyama did as well. It has to be them. That's a little bit too foreshadowing. I could be wrong, but if I am, so be it. But I'm excited for this episode, next episode, and the episodes after. But with that said, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Your predictions. How do you like the Minority Rule game? I love it. I would actually love to play this game at like a anime convention to not only, you know, have fun with other people, also promote the anime, because the anime is cool, even though it seems kind of to that point. But you know, I enjoy it. To each their own, you know. But with that being said, if there's nothing else, I hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.